Hi everyone! Had a bit of some technical difficulties. Had to switch out my tripod because the other one broke. That was fun, but we are here tonight. My Tune In Tuesday got pushed back because of traveling to and from the land of Evermore. But I didn't want to go another week without one, so here we are, and we have books to sign tonight, and I'm super excited. So let's hit it. I'm gonna wait for a few people to log in first. I am on Facebook and Instagram simultaneously. Facebook on my laptop, Instagram on my phone. But yeah, happy September. September's here, you guys. I can't believe it. I have mixed feelings. I don't want summer to end, but I am excited for the year to be over. It's good to see everybody logging in. Awesome. But yeah, we've got just a few books to sign tonight, and then I will get right into Evermore stuff. I'm super excited to talk about it. Creators all over the world right now, because of this year, are just really hurting. Basically, anything that's entertainment is really up in the air right now. And so being able to be a part of Evermore, kind of like their soft launch this summer, their pirate event, really. I was invited to be a guest merchant, and I signed a whole lot of copies of the Chronicles of Royal High, which was amazing. I was actually signing books till like 1 a.m. on Saturday night, which was really cool. So yeah, that was incredible. I'm so happy to help support a place like that. I know I'll be back for sure. Let's get to some comments real quick. Shaylin Jensen on Facebook looks like she says happy September. Happy September to you. Brandon Delfino says this year's flying by with everything going on. I know, right? All right, let's get to some Instagram. Let's see here. Ransom says only 6 days until your birthday. Only 6 days to your birthday, sir. Ransom's one of the people getting a signed book tonight, actually. His daughter, like a few days, and I think the dropped a little bit on Facebook, so hopefully everything's still okay. But Ransom's daughter Lucienne finished Lost Noble in like a whole day, and so they need Dragon's Wrath now, book 2. But you're telling me, Ransom, it's your birthday in 6 days? Happy birthday, sir. I know a lot of September babies. My dad, my uncles are in September. Like, everybody's in September. It's crazy. Luna Rose Princess says hello to you. Galaxy Man Show says, hi Rachel, never stop being your amazing and inspirational self. We need more amazing people like you in this world. So much respect. Thank you so much. That means so much. It is this, and I know I'm not alone in saying this, but 2020 has been the hardest year of my life, hands down. And I've endured some very, very hard things before. And I mean, in 2018, we're actually coming up on the 2-year anniversary, and I really want to recap on this, but I don't know if you guys remember, but I broke my foot in 2018. I couldn't walk for 3 months. Totaled my car, smashed into a semi. And I feel like I would take that over what this year has been. Like, I had to relearn how to walk from that, and I still would rather do that again than endure the shizit show of 2020. But you know, that's life. We endure, we do our best we can. But you're not alone if you're struggling. The best of us are struggling, and I'm nowhere even near the best of us, and so you're not alone. Silas on Instagram says, you remind me so much of my sister Hannah. I hope that's a good thing, Silas. Well, anyway, let's get you some book signing stuff, and I will then get to Iran and Ask Me Anything like usual in my stories. And so I've got some great questions there. I will get to those, and I'll be talking about Evermore and what it's like there. So let's get things going. Also, I got a little bit of music playing, so if it's overpowering or not loud enough, just let me know, you guys. And let's get started. Okay. Let's see here. Actually, I'm going to get to the comment before I sign quick. Shaylin Jensen on Facebook says, oh, on YouTube. She's on YouTube. I'm streaming to 3 platforms, actually. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Shaylin Jensen says, my daughter Amelia blew through both of your books last week. She said she's so anxious for the next book. She wanted me to tell you she loves how Adela chooses to be herself in the royal world. Thank you. That is the best compliment, Shaylin. That is exactly how I hoped it would be received. Adela is the most unorthodox princess anybody in Edenarth will meet, and she stays true to herself. And because she does that, she ends up saving Edenarth, at least for the day. We've got lots more conflict on the way. Book 3 is going to be great. I'm excited. I'm so excited for book 3. I've already started work, you guys. And just last night I was going over things and I was getting excited writing it. These books have been my world. They've been my world. They have been over half my life now. I started them when I was 13. I thought of Adela when I was 13, which is just crazy when you think about it because I'm 28. But yeah, so Shaylin, that's amazing. Tell Amelia thank you, and tell her next book is coming. Book 3 is coming. There's going to be a novella coming out soon, which will be kind of a story between books 2 and 3, which will set up some things in book 3. So that's slated for next year for sure. I'm so excited. That's awesome. All right, let's get to some book signings. We've got Jeter J getting a signed Dragon's Wrath for Isabella, and we've got Ransom getting a Dragon's Wrath for Lucienne, as well as a Lost Noble for himself. So I will get those going. So Ransom, we're going to do you first because I see you in the chat. Where's my pens? Oh. I made this totally just was like, you know what? I'm going to take my favorite inkwells from my favorite signing pens, feather on them, and I just wound them together, and it actually writes amazing. I'm going to be that extra and do this to all my pens. All right. Ransom, let's get you a Lost Noble, and then we'll get Lucienne's. So I'm going to put my feather there for a second. I'm going to get my signature on these. All right, so we've got Lost Noble for Ransom, and then Dragon's Wrath will be for Lucienne. If you guys have questions for me, I'm taking questions tonight. So if you want to, talk about Evermore, I can answer any kind of questions about Evermore Park in Utah. I was just there. Or if you have writing questions or just questions about life in general, mental health. I know this year has tried all of our mental healths. Send them in. Send them into the comments. All right, Ransom for you. And next one, Dragon's Wrath for Lucienne. Ooh. All right. These will be going out in the mail shortly, you guys. I'm so excited for Lucienne to find out what happens. I got a message saying, oh my gosh, she needs book 2. So super excited, you guys. All right. Next book is for Jeter J. He's getting a book for Isabella. She just finished Lost Noble, and she needs to know what happens. So we're going to get her a signed copy of Dragon's Wrath. And sign. Can you see? Yes, you can see. All right, for Isabella. And this will be going out in the mail shortly, and she's going to get to know what happens. Now I just have to get to work on book 3. I'm writing as fast as I can. But that's it for book signing. It was a bit of a light week because I was traveling, and I went to Evermore to be part of their end of summer event, basically. I'm going to get to some comments real quick, but I would love to talk about that in just a second. And also to Brandon asked me anything earlier, so I'll be getting to those as well. All right. Let's see some Instagram stuff. She's been patiently waiting. Yes, Lucianne, you've been so patient. Just a few more days, and you'll get to see what happens. Bobby Bills says, how are the fires out there? They are still going on. California is still on fire in some capacity because it's always kind of on fire this time of year nowadays, it seems like. Where I'm at, it cleared out finally, but it was really, really bad the last few weeks. I've never seen it that bad where I live in my life. And we weren't even close to the blazes, but the smoke was so intense, like you should not and could not be outside. So it was bad. It's cleared out now, but it still kind of comes in pockets. Sometimes we definitely watch the air index to see if things are okay and everything. But thank you for asking. Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, I'm in Northern California. I'm in Northern California, south of Sacramento. And yes.
Ours are northwest of us in the coastal range, somewhat west of Red Bluff.
That's my that's my first mate, my dad. He just came out to let me know that the fires are north of us right now. They're a bit north of us, kind of close to Red Bluff, he said. So we're okay for now. And I hope that we get some rain soon. Just put it all out. We need a very, very heavy, good rainstorm. But yeah, so for now, I'm saying the air is okay. So I'm praying it holds. Because I will be doing the Lodi, California Farmers Market tomorrow night, actually, is their last of the season. They had to extend it a week because they had to cancel it a few weeks ago just because the smoke was so bad. You couldn't hold the farmers market. So I will be signing books there. And that's the last thing on my radar right now. It will be a very quiet autumn, I'm assuming, which is great because I have a 3rd book to complete. So Shaylin Jensen on YouTube says, Amelia would like to know what other books you enjoyed growing up besides Lord of the Rings. She is 10, but reads at a much higher level. What other books did I like growing up besides Lord of the Rings? Well, I read Chronicles of Narnia, that entire series, Percy Jackson, Harry Potter. Mainly a lot of the main ones is what I was into. And then not necessarily reading, but I got into a lot of video games too. So I was playing like Fable and Legend of Zelda. I got into RuneScape. Really anything fantasy was just completely caught my eye. And I would hyper focus on things too. Like I would be like completely immersed in a world for like months on end. And it was like all I could think about. But definitely Narnia, Percy Jackson, Harry Potter. Those are the first ones that come to mind right now. I know I'm blanking on others. But yeah, it's my first love. And it will always be my greatest love. That's a great question, Amelia. All right, so let's get to some Ask Me Anythings because we ran some questions earlier. All right. Okay, Luna Rose Princess asks, how was traveling? So I live in Northern California, and getting to Evermore Park, that's in Utah, and that is an 11-ish hour drive for me, and add an extra hour because we changed time zones. The drive was interesting because we did it in the middle of the night because Eddie wanted to drive it in the middle of the night. But technically, if you're going to go through the desert, that can be safe because it's less wear and tear on your car with the heat. So after last week's street fair, I packed up the car, and we had our masks ready to social distance across the United States, and we packed up my booth, my books, all of it, and we just drove it in the middle of the night, and we got to Evermore, Utah, and Evermore is south of Salt Lake City, like a good 45 minutes south of Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City's great city. Nightlife is interesting, but I don't think I can fairly judge that just because, and by interesting I mean kind of non-existent right now. But again, it's COVID, so I don't think that that's very fair to judge them by, because it was pretty much a ghost town when we did kind of drive downtown. But it felt good kind of being in a new area. The Rocky Mountains, Evermore is nestled right where the Rocky Mountains are and stuff, and I can only imagine it's gorgeous with snow. Yeah, and so we slept for a few hours on Friday morning, and then we got up and we had 2 hours from 3 to 5 o'clock to set up my entire tent. It was intense. It was intense to do my whole booth in just 2 hours. Really, to do it correctly, we need about 4, because that includes getting us ready too. But we did it, and we set up, and Evermore had 2 nights to the end of their summer bash. And it was pretty cool. It was really amazing. The actors are amazing there. The park is gorgeous. It's outside. It's it's a role play park. It's like the most epic LARP you can think of, and just put it on steroids. And it's just magical, and it felt so good to kind of be doing my favorite part of my job, which is meeting all of you and signing books in person. That felt amazing to get to do again. And so, yeah, no, I'm glad we did it. And they're really good about social distancing protocol too, for those of you who are social distancing hardcore. We all wore our masks. I took mine off for some photos, but we were really good about it. And yeah, so if you need to get some fresh air and you kind of want to take a road trip, I'd say check them out if you're feeling adventurous. They definitely have not had a full season. So that, Disney's closed, Universal Studios closed, everything is closed. Evermore is a little bit different because 70% of the park itself is outside, and it's just a beautiful, like, natural environment. Lots of like trees and shrubs and lighting, and it's beautiful. So check it out. I love it. I know I want to come back. I'm definitely going to join the Bards Guild, I think, because I basically was a bard all weekend. But yeah, so I'm super excited to go about Chronicles of Royal High to Evermore. The 2 universes are not connected. I was there, on my own, but it's kind of cool because Evermore, they talk about their own like fairy magic and their own fairy portals for traveling. And it's cool because Ed and Arth, my books, they also have fairy portals for fast traveling. So the only crossover I did was I got here through the fairy portals. I took the fairy portals in because in Edenarth we have fairy magic. It's all technology. If you happen to come across my booth, I do my attempt at a British accent, which I think is pretty good. It really puts everyone in the mood. But yeah, but that was like the only little like tie-in I did. But for the most part, for all of it, Evermore and Edenarth, my world, completely separate entities. I was just there as a guest merchant. So yeah, so if you have any more questions about Evermore, I will gladly take them. But I'd like to move on. But that was basically my travels. it was a really great experience, and I hope next year's way better because I would love to return again. But yeah, so let's see some suggestions and questions, and let me take that off the screen. Carlos Upperwhite 20 says, "Hey, I'm glad to see you're doing okay. Keep up the good work with everything. You're amazing. Stay safe out there, no matter what." Thank you. Thank you for the well wishes. Thank you. So comments here. Miranda Joe on Facebook says, how did you enjoy the experience at Evermore? Did you get to play and interact at all? So when I'm working, like when I'm at my booth, I don't leave. Like, I'm lucky if I get to have like a 15-minute walkabout. But that's just how I am. I stay at my booth. Just because it's if I'm there, I'm there. If things are really slow, then I usually can kind of slip away. But I did not get a chance to slip away at Evermore, which is okay because I have been there once before, which was really kind of good. I got the lay of the land that first time around. And so being able to, I did play with people who came by. I would, do the British accent, and I would, I'm an adventuring storyteller, and I'm here just for the weekend at the Merchants Market. And the bards loved me. They came by and they were like, "You're a bard?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm a bard, but I come from a different world." And it was really cool being able to play with them. But as far as like getting to like leave and walk around and role play, I role played if you came by, but that's about it, sadly. So I do want to go back just for fun again because it's very fun. But yeah, so the overall experience is just really magical. If you're definitely a role-playing dork, a fantasy dork, if you want to pretend like you're really an elf and do the whole thing up, there's a girl there. She dresses up like a dragon slayer. She has like full like dragon art, like a whole dragon thing. She has red wings that pop up. I mean, like literally, like she slayed a dragon, wore the armor, like parts. And for those of you familiar with my book series, I'm going to say this right now. She looks like Diamara, just blonde, but like straight up. And I freaked out when I saw her, and so I got some pictures with her. She looks like just so cool. And she actually picked up a copy of The Lost Novel, so I hope she loves it. If you're watching this, Kim, you were awesome, and I think you're going to really dig The Lost Novel. But yeah, so that was amazing. Oh my goodness, there's a plane. That's not a plane, that's a helicopter. I'm in a backyard. But sometimes even in the Shire, we get some technology. All right, so all right, let's get to some Instagram Q&As. The Geek Gatsby says, "Hi, Bernie. The Geek Gatsby says on Instagram, I'd like to ask a question, but the one on my mind is too much tea for a live cast, so I'll just say hi and hope the book tour is going well." As far as tea goes, I'm going to let everybody know that I'm a gosh dang hermit. I don't leave my house. And it's been very nice having a long reset during the plague year in the Shire. So I'm not quite sure if there's anything juicy I could talk about. But message me if you're burning for whatever you're querying about. It's good to see you, though, virtually in the comments. I hope you're well. All right, so let's get to some Q&As. You could be... Oh, We've got Everything DC Universe. They ask, could you come back for Reverse Flash Origins? So earlier today, my friend Colin Bass on Instagram, he posted a throwback photo from when I was working on the independent series Flash Origins, which is a fan series based off of the Flash, DC Flash series, the show. I don't think I would be coming back for Reverse Flash Origins. They killed me off pretty good. Especially that was right around the time my book stuff started taking off and I had was stretched a bit too thin. But you know what? Never say never. Anything could happen. I'm not quite sure where Colin wants to take the series, but if he needs a cameo, you know, if it works out, I'm good for it. But I think I'm dead, like dead. Let's see here. Oh, the Geek Gatsby says, nah, just check my Facebook wall. We have a mutual who's offhand, and I was just being cheeky. See, dude, I have been so out of it, but I will drop in, and I'll see what's going on. Okay, now you piqued my interest now. Like, I just want to take my phone. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, man, I'm super isolated, and it's been cathartic being around the green, being able to write and stuff. But I'm interested. Okay, all right, I'll go look when we're done. I hope you're well, and I will say hi to Ed for you. I miss you, man. I actually really hope you're well. It's been too long. All right, let's get to more Instagram questions. Somebody says Jonathan Molineros. Jonathan Molineros. Forgive me for. He says, give me one word to describe. Yeah, that happened this week. I'm in shock still. You don't think people will just leave us like that. He was such, I don't know him. We don't, most of us don't actually know him, but we feel like we knew him because everything he stood for just leapt off of him in every interview, in every on-screen presence. I mean, just pictures with people. He was such a strong, kind, good man. And to think that he was going through cancer and surgeries during all his filming, I do not like this year. So to describe Chadwick Boseman in one word, king. He is king. He's a king, for sure. The good ones get taken too young. So, yeah. I heard that they did complete filming on Black Panther 2. So I hope that, they have what they need. Just seeing the outpouring from kids, he was their hero. Just that heartbreak. It's not easy when your hero dies. But he's not dead. He lives on. He lives on. He lives on. He lives on everywhere. But yeah. That was a tough one to swallow this week. Let's see here. DJ Manny says, how do you like your coffee? It depends if I'm allowed to enjoy it. Most of the time when I need caffeine, I just want it straight black, as dark as we can get it, and I just drink it down. I mean, everything short of, just putting it right into my veins. But if I'm allowed to enjoy my coffee, a little bit of almond milk, a little bit of sugar, maybe a little sprinkle of some cocoa. I like a mocha. I like mochas. And you know what? Gosh dang it, it's pumpkin spice season, okay? And I like pumpkin spice lattes, all right? I don't drink them all the time. Sometimes I want one, and I have one. I'm not ashamed of that. Let people love things. But usually if I mean business, coffee black, drink it down. Luna Rose Princess says, death is not the end. Nope, death is not the end. We are energy, and we pass on into different energy. That's physics. So death is not the end. All right, more questions. Let's see here. So Bobby Bill on Facebook. So we're going to switch gears from Instagram a little bit to Facebook. Bobby Bill says, so I just started Lost Noble today. That prelude was a bit crazy. Would never think torture would be the first experience of the series. So the prologue in the Lost Noble is very, very important. And there's actually some people who don't read it. They skip it. And I'm like, what are you doing? Read the prologue. It's important at the end of the book. And you wouldn't think to start out a series like that. But the Lost Noble is very fantasy pop when we start with Adela and her peasant life. And so I wanted to make sure that the readers understood the tones of this book, like the length it will go to. And to kind of hook you, right? Already you're like interested. You just brought it up. So, yeah. Yes, The Lost Noble kind of starts with a, not kind of, it does. There's a prisoner being tortured, and it definitely sets that tone for that storyline right there. And then we switch gears to chapter 1, and we see Adela Everhart slumbering in the morning sun. She's late for school. But yeah, keep reading, my man. It gets better. Anna Fantasia on Facebook says, so are we working on book 3? Tell us we have something to look forward to. Yes, I'm working on book 3. Yes, I'm working on book 3. We started storyboarding. Already got scenes written down. Mainly right now, I'm just trying to make sure the structure and the flow is correct. But I mean, I'm so excited to be finally writing scenes that have existed on paper for over a decade, because I have notebooks like this thick, just full of notes. So yes, there's work done already on book 3. Up here, it's done. But how that translates to paper, different entirely. But yes, I am working as fast as I can. This year was such a low blow. I was hoping to have an actual nice little vacation before I started work on it, and that didn't actually happen. But it's okay, because we roll with the dang punches, and you know what? We don't always get everything we want. We still have to go forward. So yes, book 3, you have much to look forward to. I want to announce the title soon. That will happen soon, probably when we get closer to more artwork reveal. But yes. Oh my gosh, I love this question. Thank you for asking this. Ah! I'm gonna do that again. Ah! Okay. Miranda Joe says, if your book received movie rights, who's your dream cast? Dang. Okay. Right now, most of these kids are going to age out by the time this thing gets made. I mean, they're kind of already there. But my original dream cast for this was, I don't know if you guys know who Emily Rudd is. She's not related to Paul Rudd, but Emily Rudd, look her up. She's the perfect Adela Everhart. She looks like her. Oddly enough, when I had my stint in the film industry, I worked in film for like 2 years off and on. I did a lot of background work. I worked on a lot of projects. I don't remember half of what I worked on, just because I worked for a calling agency, and they would just call us in when they would need us. I actually worked with Emily Rudd on a show that she was spearheading called Olive Forever. I don't know if it got a new season. I think it was on Netflix or something, or Hulu. But I was in the background in a club scene on that show, and I actually saw her in person, and I kind of freaked out a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh, you're my fan cast for my book series. But I'm pretty sure by the time this gets made, you're going to be too old. I didn't say that to her. I don't even know if I see this. But no, she's beautiful, and I really think she'd make a great Adela. Other fan cast, and I think a lot of you will agree with this, Dove Cameron for Vivian Thelred. I think Dove Cameron would be a perfect Vivian. She's like, I mean, she's got the green eyes and the big blonde hair. Like, that's Vivian for sure. And I think it would be fun for her to play because it would be a complete switch from Mal, because she played Mal in Descendants. So yeah, so that Vivian and Adela, that would be the combination. And then I used to be so into Logan Lerman when I was younger, like 10 years ago. Actually, Logan Lerman is still beautiful. I recently saw pictures. So I was like, okay, you're still cute. But Logan Lerman, when he was younger, I wanted him to play Brogan or Blake, either or. So bad, so bad. But yeah, I'm trying to remember fan casting for people. Oh, John Malkovich for Landon, for Mr. Landon. If you guys know who John Malkovich is, I'm gonna make a list of this and I'm just gonna put it up on like my Pinterest inspiration board. If you want some Chronicles of Royal High inspiration, go follow my Pinterest board. I've got so much beautiful imagery there that I've worked on for so long. John Malkovich would be the perfect Landon. Professor Brack, I want to cast Gerard Butler. I think if we kind of edit, make him a little bit larger, computers and CGI and kind of do the hair, but he's got those steely blue-gray eyes and that thick Scottish accent. I think Gerard Butler would be a kick-ass Professor Brack. Yeah. Either Dame Judi Dench or Helen Mirren for Von Derdenmeyer at Royal High. Man, I'm remembering like all the fan casts I did. Anyways, I'm not going to ramble because some of you are still finding out who these characters are. But you've now inspired me, Miranda Jo. I'm going to make this list and I'm going to put it up on my Pinterest. Don't let me forget, because this would be a fun project. Keegan Gerber says, how was the market after the fires finally died down? I was able to do market last week. Not bad. Not bad. It was definitely doable. I mean, the air quality still isn't perfect, but I mean, it's what we got. But it was definitely doable. And especially we're all wearing masks anyways, so that does help a bit. Brandon Delfino says, do you ever play the Shadow of Mordor games? There's pretty much the origin story of the Seven Rings and the One Ring. I didn't personally play them. I watched my brother play them because I actually got the second one, Shadow of Mordor. I think it was Shadow of War. A few Christmases ago, I got the second for my little brother too. So I actually watched him play those. Like I watched like 70% of it. I loved it. I thought those games were amazing. So yeah, so in a way, I'm very familiar. Never personally played them, but I loved them. Well done games. Okay, let's see. Let's get to some Instagram questions. Linda Rose Princess says, I am glad to wait because the wait is always worth it. If that is regarding book 3, I want to thank you for that vote of confidence. I think the wait is very much going to be worth it too. I want it to be the best it could be for you guys. Let's see here. Read Book 97 on Instagram. They ask any advice for a new author. Well, how new are we talking? I hate the term aspiring author because that basically makes it sound like, oh, I'm not, I don't know. I feel like it just kind of downgrades yourself. If you're going to be an author, own it. So, if you've got an 80-page manuscript, there are books that get published that are shorter than that. So in my respect, I think you're an author. You're just not officially published yet. So any advice for a new author? I would say confidence, realistic confidence. Not none of that imposter syndrome stuff. And any advice, and I say this often because it's the advice I would give myself, and I constantly tell myself this. Consistency will get you anywhere you want to go in life. You could be the most talented person in the world at something, but if you aren't consistent, you're not going to go anywhere. However, somebody could be decent at what they're doing, but they're consistent. They will far outpace that naturally talented person. So I want to tell you, in your writing, being consistent, showing up for your project, for whatever story you need to tell, that will always get you where you want to go. And I think that's why Chronicles of Royal High has done at least as well as it has done, and I hope and I know it will go even further than it is now, because it has been a part of my life for 15 years, and at this point it will never not be a part of my life. And I'm going to run with that, and I'm going to always work on it and make sure it gets finished. You know, even if it takes me a while, but at this point now, I don't want it to take me a while. I want it to get into your guys' hands. And for me, that means showing up, working on my stuff, you know, try and do it every day. Sometimes people work better in chunks of time. Figure out what works for you, but that consistency is what's going to carry you. So that's always my advice to a new author is hustle for what you want. Hustle for what you want. And constructive criticism from people you trust is always great too. That constructive criticism, because you don't want to just be blindly charging in without a few good learned friends who kind of can help, you know, let you know. But if you have an overwhelming amount of people telling you, wow, your work is good, I think you should listen to them instead of that dumb voice that doubts us inside. So yeah, that's my advice for new authors. Let's see here. Devinder Punia says, your next novel, question marks? I don't quite know what you mean by that. I've already touched on it. Maybe clarify, possibly? Because book 3 right now, we are working on it, and we will reveal the title with the artwork reveal for it. So still a little ways away, but that'll be soon. But I'm not quite sure what you want, so let me know. Let's get to some comments. Readbook 97 says, thanks, okay, ma'am. You are welcome. All right. Okay, cool. I think we are caught up on comments mostly. Yeah, we're good. We're good. All right, so let's get to some more questions on Instagram. I know it's getting later and later nowadays. When I would start these, the sun would still be up by the time I finished. It's already set. We're going to hit autumn really soon, and then I'm going to have to go inside to do these at my fireplace, which I'm excited for. We decorate really cute for autumn. Huh, this is a cool one. P. Demps 122 says on Instagram, if you had to live in another country, what would you choose? I mean, is this a money no object question? Because I don't think I could just live in one space. I'll tell you what though, I really, really would love to live somewhere on the Mediterranean. I don't know where, but a villa on the Mediterranean. We're talking like Greece or Italy. I would love that. But I've never visited there, so I really can't adequately say that because, you know, how would you know where you want to live if you haven't been there yet? Definitely feel very much like a free spirit right now because I actually don't know where I want to live after the pandemic is done and we're all cleared and ready to go and it's, you know, time to go back out into the world. You know, I'm kind of ready to set out again, and I'm not quite sure where I want that to be. I've always loved California. But I'm not quite sure. But another country, I would say somewhere on the Mediterranean, because I've always loved the photos I've seen of Greece and Italy. So I think that'd be beautiful to be. And it's warm, because I get cold. I don't do well in snow. Like, to visit the snow, I don't think I should live in the snow. So. NC Kellogg on Instagram says, just hopped on and wanted to say hi and that you looked so happy at Evermore. I was happy at Evermore. I felt soul come alive again. That's my favorite part about writing. I love writing books I love telling stories. But as much as I love telling stories, I love bonding with people over stories. And doing that at Comic-Cons and Renaissance fairs, as exhausting as it was, that was my favorite part about doing this. And getting that taken away from me this year, from so many of us creators, it's been really emotionally devastating. It's so yeah, no, getting to be at Evermore, you know, even though we were all social distancing and it wasn't quite back to normal, it was still a taste of what I used to do and what I will be doing, God willing, in the future again. And yeah, it was definitely some soul food. So thank you for, yeah, thank you. Fairy Me says, hi, Katie. Fairy Me says, you'll just have to visit your Wind Pixie in Ireland. I can come for a visit. Visits are no problem. I just don't think I could live in the cold. And you'll just have to come for a visit to your summer girl, probably in the spring and autumn on the Mediterranean. Because yeah, we'll just visit. It'll work. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, Anna Fantasia, you're so sweet. She says that it is helpful that the author is enthusiastic, beautiful, and sweet. You are so kind. Let's see here. Miranda Joe on Facebook. She says, have you ever had a character that you started to write and then changed them because you didn't like the direction or write them out? Yeah, no, I've had characters I've started to write and they've completely changed. Yes. Linroe in the series is a character that his storyline was always going to happen, but the more I wrote him, the more he really evolved, and it was really hard to keep going with that. And for those of you who've read the books, you'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, Linroe had a lot of changes as the story went on. Yeah, and yeah, there were other characters too that totally evolved. Who else? I'm trying to think right now. Oh, Catherine, Princess Catherine totally had an evolution as the series went on. Her course took a way different turn than what was planned for her. Because I mean, again, I've been writing this since I was a teenager. I'd say in the last year, no, since 2017, I realized her arc was going to be completely different than originally planned. And that was really cool to be able to kind of thread that in at the last minute, and it worked so well. So Princess Catherine of De Laron in the Chronicles of Royal High. But yeah, I mean, it's playing with your world will always, when you have writer's block, and this is going to answer a writer's block question. I'm going to pull it up on Instagram. Somebody asked a question about writer's block. One of the things I say, so Chris71 asks about writer's block, how do you overcome it? And I really say it depends upon the kind of writer's block you're dealing with. There are different types of writer's block. There's, I didn't eat enough food and my brain is fuzzy and I'm just not functioning well today. Cut yourself some slack. There's the writer's block of, I know what I want to write, but I don't know how to get it out. That one, you take a notepad and you start just structuring all the things that need to happen in this scene. Then there's the writer's block of, oh gosh, I wrote myself into a hole. I have a plot hole. I don't know how this gets solved. And I tell you on that one, start playing with your world. Start developing people's backstories more. Start asking yourself questions of your main characters. You know, it's when you start to world build, I feel like those roadblocks get answered as you're playing in your sandbox, basically. So it definitely depends. Like, there are different types of writer's block. I think the first step to overcoming it is defining which one is happening to you in that moment. You know, whether you need to give yourself a day off because of burnout. You know, go crazy with a notepad and just start scribbling anything that comes to mind to get it all out, which is a lot of times that's what I do when I know what I want to write, but I don't know how to start. Notepad. And then, the other one is, sandbox mode. Play with your world build. Think about your characters, work on your characters, and then those plot holes will definitely start to fill in. Yeah, that's writer's block, really. And make sure you have coffee and food. Feed yourself. I forget to eat sometimes, and my brain doesn't like that. Your brain needs fuel. Yeah, and proper fuel too, because junk food will only take you so far. Get vegetables, get the water, get the sleep, and that will definitely make a difference. I'm gonna turn down my light because we're a little blown out because the sun has totally set, and we're starting to near the end of. Here we go. A little bit better. But yeah, writer's block. Thank you, Chris71. Okay, let's see. Brandon Delfino says, Adela says, I hate the snow and I hate the cold. And Rachel says the same thing. I see what you did there. Oh, yes. It is almost like I write what I know. Yes, Adela is not one for the cold either. But it works out because she's from an oceanic realm and they're pretty temperate, like the Mediterranean. Yeah. Bobby Bill on Facebook. He says, if you could travel to any fantasy land besides the Shire or anything in Lord of the Rings, where would you want to go? Any fantasy land besides Lord of the Rings. Actually, I don't want this to be a cop-out, but I would love to travel to Edenarth, the world I made, just because I think it would be so incredible to see things like fairy technology, like crystal ball communications and magic mirror displays. Like, instead of steampunk, Edenarth is run by fairy punk, if that makes sense. So it's like, it's made. I've heard it called mage punk before. So it's like, and I think it would be so cool to go to a world like that. But not to be such a cop out. Let me think what world I'm really into. Ooh. Could I travel to Hyrule? I think Hyrule is just beautiful. And maybe I'm just inspired. Like, I want to travel to Hyrule as long as the music follows me everywhere. I'm in Hyrule. Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking right now too, but that's the first thing that came to mind just now. But of course, Lord of the Rings is always my pick. I've always wanted to go to the Shire. But yeah, great question, Bobby Bill. Miranda Joe, she asks, what was the hardest part about world building? What was the hardest part about world building? I've worked on this series for so long. I feel like the world building just came because I wasn't on a deadline, so I feel like the world building just came really naturally. And my magic system worked where it's like, man, this is such a hard question to answer just because I've worked on this series for so long. And I've been writing it since I was 13 years old. And so, like, all these elements literally are odds and ends from all kinds of fantasy things that I loved and knew growing up. There's World of Warcraft in there. There's, in Edenarth, in the Chronicles of Royal High, there's World of Warcraft. There's RuneScape. There's Lord of the Rings. There's freaking Winx Club. There's elements of Winx Club in there. There's just lots of things. And and it's crazy because we have Gen Z and they're coming up with all kinds of, new things that inspire them for their generation. I know I'm about a decade dated. However, the things that happen in Edenarth, I believe, are very timeless. No matter how old or young you are, you can relate to that fish out of water feeling at a new school, which is what Adelic goes through. So not necessarily there was a hard part about world building, because it's not hard to me. I feel like if I do have a plot hole, I'm kind of stuck, that's when I go into sandbox mode. And usually I grab my mom because she's been with me on this since the very beginning. So again, over 15 years. And we'll just sit down and talk and brainstorm and make some tea. You know, we'll record some stuff. I'll have my notepads and everything. And so, you know, it's not necessarily hard. It's just making sure all my bases are covered. But I say the hardest part about world building is making sure things make sense. Magic has to have a system. If you're writing a magical world, you have to have rules, and you got to abide by those rules. So I'd say that with world building, if you have lore and you have magic, there has to be a system. Like Superman's got kryptonite and he is powered by the sun. Those are Superman's rules. So yeah, he's all powerful, but he's still not quite all powerful. So yeah, world building, make sure you establish your rules. There we go. And that can sometimes be kind of hard. But yeah, great question. You are awesome tonight with the questions. I'm so appreciative. Miranda Joe again on Facebook. She says, have you ever met or seen a person and then turned them into a character? Can I plead the fifth on that? I will say this. You write what you know, right? So, and definitely my characters aren't just one sole person. I mean, a lot of them have are combinations of things and people I've known. But I definitely am not confirming nor denying that people I've known have become characters in the Chronicles of Royal High. But I feel like authors, I feel like anybody who's telling a story can't help but glean from the people they know and you know, use traits and, you know, things from them to build their worlds. I mean, we write what we know. I think that's the theme of tonight. We write what we know. So Evan Apollino says that's a yes. Again, I can neither confirm nor deny, but I have written people that I know. Anna Fantasia on Facebook says, are there any more plans to reprise Belle for another video? Oh, I would not turn that down at all. If Tracy makes more princess, Tracy's always making princess stuff. For those of you who don't know, I was in a collaborative video with Tracy Hines, Jay Bunzy, Amber Arden, Sarah Engel, Michelle Siegler. I mean, just a bunch of princess influencers online on YouTube and on Instagram. I mean, this video was amazing. We did a music video around the time Wreck-It Ralph 2 came out based off of the princesses in Wreck-It Ralph 2. And Tracy and Jay Bunzy put this video together in summer 2018, and it was amazing. They invited me to play Belle, Princess Belle, in the video, and I wore one of Designer Daddy's ball gowns, Belle ball gowns. To this day, it's my favorite memory. We all just had such an amazing shoot. We were all so tired. It went until like 5 in the morning. But it was wonderful. And if Tracy needs another Belle, for sure, girl. If you're watching, for one thing, I miss you, Tracy. If you're watching this, I'll be your Belle. I'll always be your Belle. But actually, I would like to do, I've been feeling the cosplay itch for a little bit. I've been missing it. I'd actually kind of wanted to, 2020 had turned out differently. I actually had kind of had to loosely kind of do some cosplay this year, definitely some Belle stuff, because I love Belle. And that just did not turn out. But I think some Belle cosplay is definitely in my future. I'm not discounting. I just don't know when. And maybe some music video or something. It would be cool. Evan Apollonio says, would you ever do a giveaway for a free copy? If so, I suggest picking me. Well, Evan, it's actually interesting you say that. I've been meaning to gear up to do this, and I'm going to announce it here, so that way I can get my button gear and post about it the coming week. I want to do a book giveaway. I want to start doing those once in a while for my signings on Tuesday nights, on Tune In Tuesday. So definitely I would love to do Chronicles of Royal High combo, Lost Noble and Dragon's Wrath giveaways on my Instagram and Facebooks. So I'll definitely be making those rules soon. And I mail to US residences only if you're seeing this. If you want to pay the difference, hello Canada and other countries, I'm cool with that too. Just right now, blanket for now it's United States, but if you're down to pay the difference for shipping, I'm down to ship to you. But I think I definitely am going to be doing some book giveaways here in the next coming weeks. So it's interesting you say that, Evan. So do check back. If you want a free copy, there's a big chance you could win one in one of my giveaways. And my dad just let me know that Instagram is about 1 hour, which I think is weird that it hasn't kicked me off yet. Usually Instagram kicks you off at about the hour mark. I did start these at the same time though, and I want to see. Yeah, I'm at the hour mark. Oh, hello. No. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say goodnight. I think we're gonna start to wrap this up because I think I've covered most of everything I wanted to cover tonight. Let me go through some more questions really quickly. I'm now holding up the camera. Oh, but this is such a good question. Okay, last question, because they call him Cobrax. Just asked a really great thing. Let me see if I can set up my camera again. Ah, no. All right. Okay, so we're just gonna do this vlogger style. Hello. Hello. So on my Instagram here, they call him Cobrax. He says, aside from the books, have you any interest in writing screenplays? I'm glad you asked that because I finally got a project list together in the last week. There's about 4 screenplays I actually want to create, and that's not including the ones being books first. There's actually several books outside of the Chronicles of Royal High universe that I want to make into books and movies. So I really sat down this week and I started to look at the longevity of me as a writer, me as a creator, and started to look at different projects I wanted to create. And I actually have several books and several film scripts outside of the Chronicles of Royal High that I will be working on in the next several years. And God willing, the film industry can recover swiftly from the gut punch that was 2020. Good Lord. But yes, to answer your question, film scripts, screenplays, yes, I foresee that in my future. So yeah. All right, Instagram, I'm gonna send you guys off to bed. I think that about covers it all. Thank you all for tuning in on my not tune in Tuesday / hashtag Writer Wednesday, because I had traveled and needed a day to reset. I will be back next week though, and I would love to do a book giveaway, so I will be getting myself together this week and posting about that in the next few days. I am also doing farmers market tomorrow night. If you are in Northern California, the Lodi Farmers Market, I will be there, the last one of the season, signing books. The social distance farmers market. So do bring a mask, do practice social distancing. But yeah, you guys are awesome. I love you all. Be kind to each other. It's a wild world out there right now. So, but yeah, have a good evening and I will see you next week. All right. And I just put Instagram to bed. All right. And my phone is freaking out. I'm going to put you guys to bed too, because it's been about an hour and I don't like to go super long on these. But yeah, I love you all so much. I miss you all so much. I'm just a girl who wants to tell her stories to the world. And so far, those stories make a lot of people happy. So I'm going to keep going. And that's what these live streams each night, each weeknight, kind of do. I'm trying to keep that going until we all can meet again regularly. But yeah, I'm gonna put you all to bed, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I will be back next week with more book signings, more Tune In Tuesday goodness, and yeah, be good to each other. And I'll see you all later. Keegan Gerber, that's such a good question. Hold that for next week, because there's lots of sounds and soundtracks and artists that inspired me. If you can't wait, you should hit up my inspiration tab on my website. You'll see a lot of good imagery and songs there. All right, you guys, I love you all. Be good to each other, be kind to each other, and see you next week.